Hey guys, welcome back. If you saw yesterday's video, I said that I had a lot of kind of crafting stories to document this month. So I'm putting together another page in my traveler's notebook using this month's release from Citrus Twist, which is heavily craft themed, so perfect for all of these stories. This one isn't technically craft themed, but there was this die cut. It's a very large die cut, but there was this die cut in the pack that says finest quality buttons. And I really loved that because I always call Lily my little button. And so I really wanted to document kind of a Lily story with this piece. And then I remembered that I've got these really cute little button metal dies. These are, I can't remember what they call them, like tiny dies or something like that from Rosie Studios. I will link them down below. I've cut these into two just for kind of ease of use, but they all come in one little pack. So super cute for this page. What I have done is gone ahead and printed a bunch of journal cards. I printed all of the ones that I could find that had like a solid kind of colored background for this month's cards. I mean, I didn't look any further than that. I know that these ones are then going to coordinate with everything else that I'm going to use today. So I went ahead and die cut at least one of every button die that I had from each of those colors. And you can see those here, all of these little buttons. I love them. They're so cute. I ended up swapping out the backing paper. Originally, I had done that kind of teal paper that's got like a sewing patterns on it, which kind of goes with the button theme, but actually I wanted something a little bit more colorful. So I have swapped that out for this rainbow stripe, and it kind of gives me a little bit more of a guide, I guess, for where I'm going to place these buttons. All I'm going to do is spill these across the page. I decided to end up having my kind of focal point, my photo down here with that button die cut piece, which I'm going to eventually end up having my journaling on. That's down on the bottom left, and so I kind of want my buttons like spilling up across the page. So I'm vaguely using the kind of tone on tone idea. Those stripes are very small, so sometimes the buttons overlap more than one color, but that just gave me the kind of general guide for where I'm going to place them. Now I'm going to skip out a whole bunch in here because it's very repetitive what I'm doing, but basically I'm adding a tiny little bit of adhesive to each of these buttons. I'm not adding a whole lot because I'm actually going to end up adhering these down with stitching rather than with liquid adhesive, but adding a little bit of liquid adhesive in the first place means that I can keep all of these buttons in place while I lift up the papers, which you'll notice I haven't attached to my notebook yet. I can lift them up one at a time and just do all of my stitching in one go, and then I'm not having to stitch through the actual page of the traveler's notebook as well. So I sort of changed my mind about my photo and the button die, the button backing sheet, because I've got so many buttons on here. You could use it like a drinking game, I guess. How many times am I going to say buttons in this video? I had them kind of like wonky offset originally, but because those stripes on the paper are like so strongly horizontal, in the end I decided to keep these really perpendicular to that, so a little bit less kind of higgledy-piggledy, especially with these buttons all over the show. So I'm almost finished adhering down my buttons, and then I'm going to stitch them on, and I'm just going to do that with some embroidery floss. Now the sort of issue that I have is that the background paper on the stripes is very white. It's just white printer paper. I've printed this digitally at home, so it's bright white paper. But the button backing card die cut there, you can see it's kind of more of a beigey kind of. It's not really grey, it's not really beige, it's kind of like, greige. And it does stand out that it's not white like the background. So the way I'm kind of going to deal with that is I'm going to tone it into my page a little bit more by using that kind of coloured embroidery floss. I don't have the exact colour, but I got kind of the closest that I could to it. Now all of my little buttons are like dried, the adhesive is dried down, so I can pick these up and just start stitching through the buttonholes. I did pre-poke the holes first just to make the stitching a little bit easier. And I saved you watching me do all of those. I did stitch them all in one go. You can see here I wasn't tying off in between. I started at one end of the page and worked my way towards the other, being careful not to like pull those threads too tight so it wasn't warping the page at all, but that way it saved me a little bit of time not having to knot. Plus it was a little bit less bulky once I went ahead and adhered those pages onto my notebook. Now I filled in my journaling down here, just handwritten because I've already stuck that button backing card down, and I used a sort of tealy coloured pen to start off with. I am going to end up going over that at the end in black. At this point in my page, I didn't think that I wanted to use black because there was no black anywhere else, but you'll see why I changed my mind about that in just a second. Now I did stop and turn the camera off and I thought, yep, that page could be done. It just needs a little something extra. And so, of course, sequins. These were kind of the closest sequins that I've got to like looking like buttons. And these all come out of my Citrus Twist boxes anyway. I saved them all, split them all into little jars. So now seemed like the perfect time to use some of them for this page. I'm just, again, kind of going tone on tone. They were all a little bit harder to kind of match them because some of the colors are, I don't know what you call them, like the reflective color is a little bit different to the actual color of the sequin. So I'm just trying my best. If I spread them out on the white desk, it helps me to see a little bit clearer what the colors are. Some of them are kind of more transparent than others, so I want to make sure that I'm not having any that are too like that stick out visually too much, like the one at the top on the left hand side ends up going because it's a little bit darker than the rest of them. Now I'm not going to stitch these down because I have already gone ahead and stuck those pages into my notebook. So instead I'm just going to adhere them onto the page with a little bit of multi-matte medium. It's kind of my favorite adhesive for sticking down sequins just because it does dry matte as it says on the box. So if a little bit of glue kind of like slips out or you don't see it as much as you do with other liquid adhesives, definitely my favorite. It does take a little bit of time to dry though, so I'm careful to leave this out on my desk. Now this is where I changed my mind about the black because I just felt like the page was kind of lacking a bit of balance. It didn't have this like strong kind of focal point apart from my photo. I think it's just all of the colors on here. It needed something a little bit stronger to balance that photo out. So I decided to add a title other than, you know, finest quality button. I didn't forget to mention that. It says finest quality buttons, but I very carefully placed one of those button die cuts over the S. So it says finest quality button because I'm talking about my lily. And here we go. I'm doing a little bit more planning for my title too. This technique worked so well the other day that I decided to try it again because I wanted to add the title cute as a button. The cute, I just used those puffy alphas, and then I wondered whether I could stamp under here in the same size as cute. And I mean, I can't really, but it did give me an idea. I just have to make sure that I kind of squish it up so that it can all fit under here. So it's a little bit more squishy than I like, but I did get there eventually. Now this is, you can see here, I've already gone ahead and added the black on top of my journaling, and then I was like, oh, the black kind of is still sticking out. It doesn't kind of feel cohesive to me. So I went back in and added some black splatters with air quotes. I just used the same gel pen that I did my journaling in and just added a few little splotches here, there, and everywhere. And I feel like it just kind of tied the whole page together a little bit more. So all in all, it seems complicated, but it was quite a simple page, and I kind of love how bright and colourful and easy it was to put together. I got another page done in my February notebook. I will leave all the links for everything I've used here down below in the description box, but thank you for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, I'm going to leave a couple of videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you again really soon. Bye.